A Day on the Focus with Anne. Hello, history buffs and casual listeners alike. Welcome back to A Day on the Focus, your daily dose of historical happenings. Today is March 12th, and boy, do we have a jam-packed timeline. First up, way back in 538, the Ostrogothic king Vitiges decided Rome wasn't worth the hassle after a long siege. He bailed on the whole thing, leaving the city in the hands of the Byzantine general Belisarius. Talk about a strategic retreat. Fast forward a bit to 1088, and we have the election of Urban II as Pope. You know, the guy who pretty much launched the Crusades? Major historical moment there. Then, in 1158, Munich gets its first official mention. Talk about a late birthday shout-out. We're talking official paperwork, not just some whispered rumor in a dark tavern. The 1600s were busy. 1622 saw the canonization of Ignatius of Loyola and Francis Xavier, founders of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. Big deal for the Catholic Church. A few years later, in 1689, James II of England landed in Ireland, kicking off the Williamite War. It seems the 17th century was all about drama and religious upheaval. Jumping ahead, March 12, 1912, saw the founding of the Girl Guides in the U.S., the precursors to the Girl Scouts. So thank you, March 12th, for empowering generations of cookie-selling, knot-tying trailblazers. 1930 was a year of peaceful resistance. Mahatma Gandhi started his Salt March, protesting British salt laws. Talk about a long walk for a pinch of salt. And just 3 years later, Franklin D. Roosevelt gave his first fireside chat as president. Anyone remember those? They were basically the original presidential podcasts. Then we get to some less positive events. The St. Francis Dam failure in 1928 resulted in a devastating flood. The Anschluss in 1938 saw Germany's annexation of Austria. World War II brought its own share of tragedy on this day, including the end of the Battle of Java in 1942. But hey, even amidst all the historical heaviness, there's always some lighter stuff going on. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee proposed the World Wide Web to CERN. Let's raise a glass to the internet, which allows me to even be talking to you all right now. So today's a pretty packed day in history. Now for a little fictional twist. Imagine a time-traveling historian, let's call her Professor Amelia, accidentally lands in 1930 India, smack dab in the middle of Gandhi's Salt March. She's got her tweed jacket and her meticulously researched notes on the events of March 12th across all centuries. She sees Gandhi, spots a familiar figure from her research on the 1933 fireside chat. A young, unknown Franklin D. Roosevelt somehow flung forward in time. And there's also Vitiges, who, having escaped the siege of Rome centuries before, is somehow working as a salt farmer. It turns out he had a hidden talent for making artisanal salt. The three of them, a freedom fighter, a future president, and a surprisingly skilled Ostrogothic salt entrepreneur, find themselves unexpectedly collaborating on a rather unusual batch of historically infused salt. Professor Amelia, however, is freaking out, trying to fix her broken time machine and get back to her own time before someone discovers her anachronistic presence on the Salt March. It would be disastrous. Who knows what paradoxes her presence has caused. The end. That's all the time we have for today. Join me tomorrow for another exciting trip through the annals of history. Until then, keep exploring,